Yeah, well, they're obviously excited. It's very long off seasons, very long shorter pre-seasons than AFLW, but yeah, clearly the opportunity to play in a really big game on a home deck is pretty exciting for the group.
What will it mean to play back at Adelaide?
Yeah, I think we trained there the other night, which was great, there's still a few of our players that haven't played out there, so really exciting for them. It's clearly a great stadium and a great arena, and so for the AFLW to be taking the games to those type of venues is great. It's the next step in the development of the league. Yeah, well, the SNFL played their round there on the weekend, so that was really good. So a number of our players actually played in that game, but there were a couple. I think there was about 3 that hadn't been out there. So,
Did they enjoy it?
Yeah, they seem to enjoy themselves. Yeah.
Have you gone in with an unchanged lineup location after the Regas the Mayflies, or will there be a sort of a hard luck story where you're guessing? I know it's a tough time.
Yeah, there is hard luck stories. Absolutely, there's 9 of them. So every week is really challenging because the form in the SNFL is really strong. A lot of our players have played really well, but ultimately, only 21 get to represent. So there'll be some hard luck stories, but. Whether we'll obviously we've performed well over the last little while. We haven't ever gone in unchanged this year, so we'll wait and see.
So you're not going to let us know whether it will be?
I don't know when I'm allowed to. There's all these rules, but we'll find out soon enough. It'll be, obviously they played really well over the last fortnight, and so the change will be very minimal.
How beneficial has the bye been?
Yeah, it worked in our favour. Clearly because 2 teams dropped out of the competition last week, so to get ourselves through to the last 4 was great, and we did have a couple of players that were ready for that week off. The downside of it is the continuity. Obviously, if you keep playing, you just keep. It almost becomes your training. So our training session on Wednesday had a fair bit of intensity about it, necessarily, because we've got to get ready for what's coming.
Have you already spoken to those players that I guess were close but haven't quite made it, and
Yep. So ongoing dialogue right throughout the whole season with everyone that doesn't get selected. It's as I said, it's the toughest part of the caper, but they've all been outstanding in terms of their attitude and the way that they've essentially put the team first. So those are tough conversations, but we're in a really good place culturally in terms of the group, understanding that that's the reality and that they are still highly valued and have a significant role to play. Yeah, so that was probably our poorest performance of this season, but maybe because the opposition were really good that day. So you always want to be mindful of you can only sometimes play as well as your opposition allow you, and they were very good. But we feel as though we have learnt from that game, not only leading into this week, but we think it helped us over the last fortnight. And that's true of all the games throughout the season. So you get to this point in the season, you are ready, you're prepared because of all the experiences of the season to this point. And the Melbourne game was a really good learning opportunity for us in terms of the contest wasn't at the level on that night. So we've got to bring that.
So what are you telling girls about that?
I didn't have to tell them too much, to be honest. They recognised it pretty quickly. But sometimes, even within the game, they responded in the last quarter within that game. But sometimes the moments pass. So that's probably one of the learnings. Sometimes you don't get a second chance in game to remedy a situation. But clearly, they responded really strongly. The 2 performances off the back of that game were good enough to enable us to make finals, ultimately win the minor premiership. So, lots of learnings out of it. But it's a new ball game this week. We'll see.
Let's touch on the Adelaide Open and what it will be like for the girls.
Yeah.
Athletes generally tend to be creatures of habit and feel. Will there be a huge benefit for some of the girls knowing that last time they were there, it was probably the best day of their career so far?
Yeah, I mean, a long time ago, to be honest. We train out here. It's the same dimensions as the Oval, but there is a different feel when you've got a large stadium around it. Hopefully we can get as many members and supporters there as possible. It's interesting times. COVID has diminished crowds generally, so we'd encourage everyone to get along. It's going to be a cracking game, and maybe home crowd could be a factor. And it's true in sport. If we can get a large crowd there, getting right behind them, who knows? That might be part of it. So to our members and supporters out there, get along. This is, $10, school holidays and all that. Get along. It'll be fun.
Does it help mindset for one of the players to walk out and think, oh, last time we were here, we didn't win a flag, or even though it's...
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this game will just be this game. I reckon it'll be a great game. It'll be really intense. The occasion and the event will be part of that. But I don't think you'll be drawing on too much from a couple of years ago, unfortunately.
Do you know when Daisy Pearce is?
I do not know, but as soon as you know, you let me know, and then we'll plan accordingly.
Change the plan?
She's a very good player. Yeah, clearly. So. If she's out there, I mean, in some respects, as we've highlighted, it's going to be a cracking game. The competition's improved significantly this year, and everyone's really enjoying that. So, in a lot of regards, I hope she does play because she's one of the premium players, and we love to, to showcase, what the league is becoming by having all the best players out there.
Well, Erin Brooks has been such a superstar for the sport and for the Crows. Is there a potential that this could potentially be further, bring them into a grand final?
She's playing pretty well, so I reckon we'll keep her going if we can.
So what does she mean then, for her in the title that really going into a third potential?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a standout player throughout the competition in the early years. And as the standard of the competition is improved, others are coming up to her level, but she's still holding a pretty good level. She's very talented, very driven athlete. An amazing player to be able to work with as a coach. So we were fortunate to have her, and as with many of her teammates, they're great to work with.
Melbourne have won 5 in a row.
Yep.
Knocked off Brisbane and the Dockers, who had a very good season. What are they doing right at the moment?
Yeah, they're very balanced. In terms of the cohesion between the lines is really good. Their contest is excellent, and they're offensively they use the ball well. They're reasonably aggressive. They bring the ball back through the middle. But I think it's the balance that they've established across the three lines. We mentioned Daisy Pearce. She went forward for them, and I think that balanced them even further. So they're the form team. There's no doubt. They're 5 straight. No one else is in that space. But this contest will be this contest. We'll see what comes.
How do you feel about someone like Karen Paxman?
Yeah, so as I said, across the lines they've got quality, and she's a proven performer over a long period of time. Enormous work rate, covers the ground, good in the contest. So how you cover her is you put a pretty good player on her and hope they have similar attributes, and we've got a few of those. So that's going to be part of the excitement of the game. Is some of those, obviously the team matchups, but some of those individual battles are going to be worth watching.
Are you going to take 2 rucks into the game?
We did over the last fortnight. Yep. So we'll see.
Can I ask Chloe Shear?
Yes.
She's come back into the side after missing all last season. What
Yep.
do you think she's brought to your team this year?
Oh, well, Chloe's an outstanding talent, and I think with each season she's also developing her footy IQ, and she's a beautiful user of the ball. When she's got the ball in her hands, it's good times for the Crows. But what she's doing is her improvement is probably her work away from that, her work off the ball, and her positioning. She's able to play through forward line, obviously, but also come up through the midfield, and that just adds to our group. So yeah, she's becoming a really important part of our group.